Hi, I'm Captain Grant Coppin with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
Down here on the King Ranch shoreline, we've been catching good numbers of reds in the mouths of some of these back lakes, hitting the drains, but throwing that cut bait, either cut mullet or cut skipjack, and basically, as long as your baits are hitting in the sand and you're letting that current carry that scent downwind, you're really going to do good in here catching those redfish and catching an occasional trout. We even got a flounder last week fishing with cut bait along the King Ranch shoreline. Over here in these sand pockets, these have been good areas where we've thrown croaker and catching some trout, throwing some piggies when we can find them. I'll draw arrow over here. There's another set of good sand pockets in the flat. A little bit further north of here, here's a set of sand pockets. Here's a set right here. Okay, so I got 4 good sets here, just in case there's a boat on one of them. Go to the next set. Go to the next. Don't try to get up where we are fishing. You can hit any of these 4 areas and you're gonna have some productive water. And this is over a mile and a half stretch of area. So come in here, throw piggies and croaker, get upwind of the sand pocket, power pull down, throw on the front. Make sure you're throwing downwind into the sand pockets and working your baits back to the boat. Up here north of the bridge, we've been catching good reds over here in the funnel. I call it the funnel because it kind of funnels the fish in there. Also, along the ICW here, we've been catching good numbers of redfish in this flat. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this entire flat because, you know, depending on what the wind's doing, you never know. If it's blowing north end, they're on the south end. If it's blowing south, they're on the north end. If it's blowing east, they're on the west end. If they're blowing east, it's on the west end. So just come in here, try not to burn the whole flat. If you're coming in here, you know, just start your idle right on the edge of the ICW and work your way towards this island over here, and then come back, maybe idle, maybe power pull down. What you don't want to do is push these fish around so much that they stop biting and get lockjaw. So fish that dirtier water, don't fish the clean, and you'll do just fine. Over here in the dead end canals, we've been catching some good drum, sight fishing, looking at them, throwing a live shrimp with the tail cut off on a 1/4 ounce or 1/8 ounce jig head. And up here in the north end, the water's been real clear. I don't like to fish that clean water. Come down here a little further south, you get some dirtier water. Most of it's up here on the back side of these islands as you come south. But usually when it's cranking, when the wind's blowing hard, north or south, it doesn't really matter. But when the wind is cranking in Nighthawk, that's when Nighthawk is at its best, because it doesn't get too rough in Nighthawk. It's not too big of a bay. It's a small bay with somewhat shallow water. So when it's kind of murked up, that's when the fish are in here. Over here on East Clayburg Point, we're catching good numbers of reds, trout, black drum. It's just been good over here on those calmer days. Sometimes on the rough days, it's hard to fish the rocks, but that doesn't mean the fish aren't here. Just come in here, be careful. Try not to fish here in the middle of a cold front because it gets really rough. The only reason I say that is because I was over here the other day when the cold front hit, and it was really, really tough fishing conditions, and luckily we were able to skirt out of there without having too much damage to anything. But come in here, throw your popping corks and live shrimp on the bottom with just a split shot, or some croaker or piggies if you can get a hold of them this late in the season. Over here around Black Bluff, we've been catching some good trout. Also, White Bluff's been holding some good trout. Just coming in here, fishing the rocks. Had a few light wind days last week. And looks for the wind to be the same coming this week. So, unless a cold front's coming, which I don't think there is one, but if there is one, don't come fish these areas because you will get pounded by north wind, and it's hard to get out of here. Whenever I'm over here and a north wind starts blowing, I get up on the shoreline and I come back all the way back to Penascal Point. When I come back down this shoreline and I get to Penascal, I'll jet through that little cone, come through here, get up on this east shore, and I'm able to run the bank back.
I'm Captain Grant Coppin. Thanks for watching.